What's going on, everybody? It's the PRIME coming back at you guys with another episode of the Prime Nostalgia Podcast. I am here with a woman that needs no introduction. I want to say she's a vampire because she doesn't age, but somewhere she says she's going to age. It's Trina Mcgee. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I am bored in the house, but it's still fine.
I know, I'm bored in the house too. I take an occasional bike ride because it's very sparse where I'm at, but that's about it.
Well, for people that don't know you, can you a little bit tell them who you are for the people that's.
What? Someone doesn't know me? Oh my gosh. No, I'm kidding. A lot of people don't know me, but yes, I played a character called Angela on a show called Boy Meets World that has been on television in reruns for sometimes 6 hours a day for about 24 something years.
Those were great days.
Yeah. And now you can find it on various outlets, but people have been watching the show for so long, and that I've pretty much been, at this point, who knows what the future brings, identifiable as that character, the black girl on the show.
Yeah.
And I'm fine with it. It's great, and it's a great legacy, and I'm very proud of it.
I only asked for you to introduce yourself like that is because most times, most actors don't get the respect of knowing their names. Like, no offense, people call oh my gosh, people call Jaleel Urkel, or
I know.
So I just want.
When that happens, you have to come to terms with it. Just ride it out,
So I just wanted to get that out there. The name is Trina Mcgee, But you mentioned Boy Meets World, and there's a lot of things that can happen in different sets, different areas of where people are. Would you had some experiences on the set of Boy Meets World? Would you want to talk about that a little bit?
Well, yeah. The experiences that are of importance right now are coming out in some news articles lately. And due to myself having a little moment in January, I was in bed and I was PMSing a little bit, and I'm in there. You know how you're a girl and you're thinking of some things that have happened, and specifically in this, I had seen that some of the other cast members were going on some conventions.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't invited, but yet I had a fan base that kept asking me, why aren't you at the conventions? So I kind of, in my mind, had been muddled over this and a lot of series of events that I kind of felt were some big and some small slights. And over the years, and you haven't, sometimes, like, you ever have an incident where something happens, someone says something to you, now you may be better than me than this, but, and someone says something, and you say something back, but then you, like, years later, you're like, I wish I had said, and why didn't I say, and so I'm looking at these, so I'm a girl, we think about it sometimes over the years, not obsessively, but I felt slighted about the conventions. And people were asking me, and I said, I just kind of said, what if I got to lose? What if I just said what some of the not so great experiences were, and because it kind of shouted to me as an overall vibe as to why I might be not included in these experiences. Now, I've heard other things, conventions pay this and they don't want to pay and da-da-da-da. But you know what, at the end of the day, it kind of just felt good to say, you know what, I have a voice. I'm not to be trampled over. And don't think that it's okay because I maybe didn't address it the right way at that time to still keep that vibe going on every time we all get together. There's a little slight of this. So particularly I noticed I had mentioned 3 things that had happened with cast members, not naming their names, but some blogs had picked it up and they called it extreme racism. Yeah. And I think that's really more why I want to talk about it now, because that was not extreme racism.
Definitely not.
Extreme racism is when my great-grandfather, Scotty McGee, had to leave South Carolina because he had been given the wrong change by the clerk. And the white clerk told him he had to go with his family or else he'd be lynched that night. That is extreme racism.
Yeah.
So whatever I was experiencing was not that.
It's probably just a news person trying to get more headlines, trying to get more eyes, basically. Probably what that is.
Well, I find with news outlets, whoever they are backed by, the vibe of the article is always going to be different. there was a French article that came out about it, and it was more of a humanitarian look upon it.
Okay.
So what it was is, what's funny enough is the person who called me Aunt Jemima, because that was the racist offense. What had happened was I was in the makeup and trailer room, and I was getting my hair and makeup done. They hadn't finished my hair, and they wanted us to come out and rehearse a scene that they had been newly written, because we were going to have to tape it probably that night or the next day.
Okay.
So I wrap my hair up in a tignon, an African wrap, and I come onto the set, and the comedian comes to me and says, "Hey, you look like Aunt Jemima." And I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. So I waited till the scene ended, and I walked over to the person, and I said, "You know that was racist, right? That's not cool. You don't say that to a black woman. We this is not feeling. Am I right though? Can you get with me on that case? I mean, do you really think, as a black woman, really wants to hear Aunt Jemima? I mean, come on." So you don't have to answer that. Yeah. So then I said that was offensive. So he didn't really get it. He goes, "Well, I like your syrup. How's that offensive?"
Wow.
So then I began to calmly explain to him, though, why it was offensive. That there had been laws that women had to wrap it. It's part of an African heritage. I'm Haitian. I'm Haiti. No. So, but at that point, he still didn't quite get it. And he said, "Well, I don't see it that way. It's more like somebody saying, I'm the Jolly Green Giant. I wouldn't be offended by that." But I think at this point, I looked at him when he said that, and I said, "This person is not racist. They are just not educated and don't really want to be in this moment because they want to be funny." I just feel like maybe they weren't so much racism as the angst of insecure teenagers. And you have to remember, I was older than everybody on the show, and I can't really say if that was racism. Maybe it was DNA racism, the other two situations. But I do know that the Aunt Jemima thing was just like a dumb person at the time. Okay. So, but it also was a dumb person that I actually had a lot of good times with too. And sometimes when you're a black person in the midst of the white friends, you have to school people. It doesn't necessarily mean that we have to go to war now, but it could be a situation. It could be a great teaching moment. It could be a learning moment. And funny enough, 2 days ago, I actually talked to, when you saw the tweet I said, he immediately, this person immediately sent me an apology letter. The person who called me Aunt Jemima immediately sent an apology letter. And it was very sweet and it was very kind. And he pointed out in the letter that, "Trina, thank you for pointing that out then. I've carried it with me the rest of my life." And I realized as I got older that when you say something offensive, it doesn't matter what your intent is. If that is the effect on a situation that has so deeply hurt so many people in such a way, you have to be careful. If you're an entertainer who cares about your responsibility of being an entertainer, then you're going to consider this. You're going to consider these things. And this person did. And he said, "Trina, my life has never been the same since then on the point of this matter. And I learned and I changed the way that I think and my perspective. And I even do my comedy different. I approach it differently." And it was a really, really cool thing. And he also said, "I really applaud you for coming to tell me about it, but you didn't come and scream at me and roll your neck. You just quietly in a Zen way said, hey, this is what it is." Now, at the time, I thought maybe I could file a lawsuit. But then I just don't have the heart to do that. And that's kind of thing. This is a real cancel culture. These things can be things that we take from each other, that we learn from, especially now at this time when we really, really need to come together just to really as a means of survival. And not even in a physical way, obviously, but we need to put our heads together. We need to be thinking. We need unity. And we don't need to be separated by phrases like extreme racism. No, I could have had this conversation with him years ago and it could have been resolved. You know what I'm saying? But in a way, I'm glad it got resolved the way it did because I know other people have had this experience. And I know that it doesn't have to be this horrific situation people can learn from each other, and I'm very humble that I had an opportunity to make it a teaching moment and not a war.
Yeah,
Like that.
more. And I was just saying, more people need teaching moments because more people. A lot of people just don't know. Not that it's racist, but a
Yeah,
lot of people just don't know the other side.
the other side, or even sexist. You know what I'm saying? Or just being, or even shaming bodies, shaming career, professions, dehumanizing in general. It's just not gonna get. It's just not gonna get us through this life um, peacefully. And I think everybody just needs to really chill on how they're seeing each other. And I think, funny enough, before this virus came along, I think things were really getting out of hand with dehumanization. And I think the virus may not help it, but I think people are going to be a little bit more forced to think about who they might need, who are in an event that they are dehumanizing somebody whose knowledge they might need. We're dehumanizing people and calling it the China virus and everything. We might need their information.
Yeah,
to
yeah.
get through this.
Yep.
So that's all. People don't know. Everybody's got to get way more educated on each other and less ignorant on each other.
I mean, like, you know, especially with your case is, maybe 90 maybe percent of the cast, the crew, and all that is a different, thing. Is a
Oh,
yeah.
let me break it down for you.
Oh, okay. All right.
It was me.
Okay.
One lighting guy.
Okay.
And then when I came on, they brought in this fabulous woman. She was a writer named Erica Montopolo, and she was like the black person consultant.
Okay.
Erica was great, but she wasn't. She grew up in Beverly Woods. She wasn't the black
okay.
person.
Okay.
No offense, not that being urban means you're more black, but I'm not. I don't know if I think it. I don't know how effective that was. But I do think that we on Boy Meets World we hit a lot of home runs in that area.
Yeah.
So I will give Erica that, or if it was Erica not.
I do.
I don't know. I think in the '90s they did that. They would hire a black person, or even not just. They would hire coaches and people like that to coach a longer show.
Well, just speaking on quote unquote Angela for a minute, your hair, like literally, maybe the best hair on a show ever. I would probably say. I've
gotten a
yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I've got a lot of comments on the hair. People don't know that I did my hair. I did my own hair, so it didn't always look so great and polished every episode. Sometimes it was like, ooh, gosh. But right the night before taping, I'd be up doing micro braids, and I don't know why I didn't just hire someone, but it just wouldn't come out the way I would want it when I wanted it. And the hairdressers really, for the show, really weren't for that. I'm the only black person, and I can't ask Lori Heaps to come over and do microbraids the night before. So I don't blame them. Like it's this bad, but maybe they should have hired someone, but maybe they didn't have the budget. But at the end of the day, that's what you got.
No, seriously, I seen like a picture and it was like 12 different hairstyles that you had. I'm like, oh, all these are like nice. So
They have a couple of those Somebody keeps putting out a lot of those montages of those square boxes. Because I've seen a couple too with a couple more hairstyles. Yep. That's cool.
Even when, I was gonna say, even when you came back, that hairstyle I thought looked pretty good too. So I mean, hey.
Well, I got some people saying, "Why are you wearing blonde hair?" And I don't like that about that. And some people liked it, but you know what? If they're not saying nothing, you ain't done nothing.
It's a style. It's a good. All of them honestly were good. I know what you mean when you say a couple of episodes you were like, whoa, but
I'll tell you which one. There was one when the Topanga character was going to date someone else. And we were at an art museum.
Oh, yes,
okay. She tells me she loves him, and my hair's like puffed out to the side. I'm like, damn.
Just talk about the hair for a little bit. Like, for most black girls, young black girls, watching the show at that time or whatever, probably like, oh, that's actually, I can wear my hair like that and it'd be okay. Because some people get ridiculed about their hair.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
That...
It really is a big thing for us. we have been made to feel over, decades that we had to adapt to a hair type that's not ours. So, I really love changing my hair anyway. But to seeing, what it could do in real life, so it was nothing for me to keep doing it on television. But if that gave anybody an inspiration, like, hey, I'm walking out the door like this and I'm cute.
Now, speaking of just shows in general, just being like in the public eye, how has being in the public eye for you been? Whether it's the people coming up to you, or the nice people, or even the mean people, just how is that?
You get used to it after a while. I think where I am on the star spectrum is kind of like, sometimes it's outrageous, like, oh my God, it's Angela, and then sometimes it's like, yeah, how you doing? And then, hey, Lark Voorhees. And then sometimes it's like, did I go to high school with you? So I kind of have the luxury of a couple of experiences where I'm not, so well known at this point, anything can happen. Where I can kind of move and be about. And it feels good. And then there are pockets in time where the show really wouldn't air that much, and I would feel very anonymous, and I love that too. I don't have an attachment. I feel that that's a job. I've been doing this since I was 19, and I'm 50.
Yep.
And so it's been since then that I've been recognized on and off for years, and I just feel like my family history is in a political service. On my Haitian side, my great great grandfather was the second president of Haiti, who ruled for 30 years. I am related to Alex Didier, the senator. I'm former senator, one of the governors, General Delatour, the 1800. I mean, it just goes on and on. So the public service thing is in my blood, and I feel like that is what it is. It comes up. I feel it's a public service. I feel that it's a platform actually to do the divine things if I wish to. Because that's really my family tradition. Other people may see it other ways. It might be just I don't know how they see it, but that's how I see it. I see it as a full responsibility. And when some comes up to me, as long as they're not creepy, it's my job to be of light to them.
Yeah, well, I've personally myself seen like how people growing up watching a show come and talk to some people. I'll be honest with you, some of them are not they are not trying to be creepy, but the way that it comes off is kind of creepy. Like,
well, Boy Meets World has a lot of creepy people. Can I tell you one quick story about creepy Boy Meets World fans?
Sure, I'm here for stories.
We used to have every Friday night this family that would come. Every single tape night. I think it was Friday night or Thursday night, they'd be there, front row. And they looked like they were from West Virginia. Like, okay. The father had a long beard, the whole thing. And then one of the cast members started calling them the Stalker family.
Oh, okay.
So then it became, when they would do like the audience thing, we'd be like, get up, Stalker family. Like, we call them the Stalker family to their face. And it was so sad. And then one day they came, and the dad wasn't there from the Stalker family. And we asked him, hey, what happened to Dad? He was getting heart surgery.
Oh,
and they still came to the taping.
Dad, yeah, okay. He probably was like, hey, go get a picture with him and make sure. Yeah.
Go on without me.
Now,
my gosh.
With you also being in Hollywood, what are some experiences do you think people can learn from? Like, for example, skin color can play a tone, just people maybe or maybe not taking you seriously because of the stuff that you've acted in. How could that hurt or help somebody?
You know what I'm kind of realizing now at this point in my life? That none of that matters. Okay. And that those are traps that people get into. And what really matters in Hollywood is the biggest example of this. For those who do break through, it is what you believe about yourself. Eventually, if you keep pushing it through, it will project, and that will be your outcome. Because Hollywood is just the speaker filter to go out from. Yeah, I played this role and that role. I put action to that belief, and it's truly there every day, anything is possible.
Yeah.
And I think that's what people really need to. Yes, there are boundaries, but there are people who have broken through these boundaries, and it takes a very special sight game on yourself to do that. And I'm willing to do it.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm willing to do it, baby.
Now, just a side note. As for like things that you have been, say, maybe wanting to do, is there like something that you want to do acting wise that like either always not haunted you but always was in the back of your mind?
Well, I think what I want to do acting wise, and I don't know if it's haunting me because I'm starting to work on it now. I think it just comes with time and age and wisdom. Is I'd like to tell my stories not only in front of the screen, but behind the scene. You know, I've learned over the years how to direct, how to produce, and I'm really interested in conveying some of the real human great things that honestly, because I just love to tell my business sometimes, that have happened to me. Because I think that's part of the road of a humanitarian, where you can share your story in truth and convey it to people, and it helps them. So that's really what I'm looking at next. I'm writing several scripts. I have one movie coming out next year that I had done. It's been in editing forever, but yeah, I will be definitely doing a lot more behind the scenes. Probably writing and producing stuff that I'm starring in.
That's nice. Yeah, no, really, that is great.
It's easy to work with me. I'm great. You know, me working with me, we great. We got it.
Honestly, I would be ready to see what those projects are. You know,
oh great,
it'd be great. Do you have like a you have like a favorite genre of stuff that you like to watch, or just you know?
I personally, I'm a girly girl. I like dramedies.
Okay.
I like romantic comedy, dramedy kind of thing. Okay. Kind of like what Boy Meets World is. We're joking, and then boom, dad, you said, you know. So that I like that. I do like dramedies. Thrillers are good, and I also like documentaries.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I have like probably two favorites. I like the buddy cop action.
Oh really? Yeah, that's cool.
And then I like for some reason I guess it's just one director got me into it, but I like the teen movies in general, like the Ferris Bueller's or the Breakfast Club, those type of
teen
movies.
I've seen all the John Hughes movies.
Yeah, John Hughes. Yeah, John Hughes is fantastic. Maybe I don't know. Maybe it's just he gets that feeling of being a teenager or how they actually act down pat. That's probably why I like it, because it's like realistic rather than some other movies that it's not.
He gets the angst and the real feeling of it, and not the
Yeah.
And it's like he's coming through the eyes of the teenager.
Yeah, he gets the real feeling, not the parent that doesn't know anything that's going on. She says, "Not my Billy." So yeah.
Right. Okay. What's your favorite movie though? Sweet Breakfast Club or Sweet? Do you like 16 Candles?
Oh, my favorite John Hughes movie. Oh, it might be 16. Well, it might be 16 Candles or Breakfast Club, just because of like Breakfast Club. There's nothing happening. Like they just sitting around, but it's so much character development that I like.
Yeah.
So
that's exactly what made. And see, that tells you if you care about the person in the project, that's really just more than half the battle.
Yeah.
More than half. You can get away with a lot just by doing that.
Now.
Yeah. You know what? Also, I like just to talk on with. I also like the black classic '90s movies like Baby Boy, the Fridays movies. Friday After Next I was in also.
Yep.
And I like the classic black Boys in the Hood.
Yep.
You know, the John Singletons. I do like those movies. I always turn those on. I've seen all of them a million times. Paid in Full.
Yeah. Set It Off. You know.
Set It Off. Can't forget Players Club.
Poetic Justice. We keep going. Yeah.
Yeah, Poetic Justice. Yeah. Set It Off was really good though. That was the one.
Like,
yeah. So.
I could talk about movies all day. I'm sorry. I know,
right?
It's just something that I love. Like, is there any movie that you like would have wanted to play in, and you was like, I could have done that?
There's a couple of movies that I should have been in. A lot of people don't know the movie Clueless. Came down to me and Stacey Dash. And the other pick and the other pick for the couple was Terrence Howard and Donald Faison.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we were the
interesting.
final four to audition for that, and then Stacey and Donald walking away with it. Terrence. I don't know. How could you see Terrence playing Donald's part?
I can't honestly.
I'm the name was I wanted to be in, and I didn't get because there was a couple of those. I can't remember. Wait, I know. I wanted to be in Living Single so bad. And it was Kim Field's part. She got that part.
Oh, Kim Field. Look.
And I kept calling. I would have been Regine because I had auditioned. I think I had auditioned for that. Yeah. And then I just hounded them. I wanted that part so bad, but that was not meant for me.
Yeah,
But then shortly after that, that's when I got Boy Meets World. So it all worked out. Everybody found their place. Yeah.
Now, you know what? This might be my last movie question, okay? Because we could talk about this all day. But how much of a movie's soundtrack helps out the movie for you when you're watching it?
Oh, for me, I know. This is the girl who buys the soundtrack. You asked the right person. Okay, my favorite soundtrack of all is Marvin Gaye's soundtrack to Trouble Man. It is the bomb.
Okay.
And then I also like Isaac Hayes' Shaft. Soundtrack is great. That's really great. It makes a big difference. And honestly, music can disturb me. Like, I'll be watching this and I'm like, why the hell did they pick that music?
Yeah.
It totally didn't work. So music is very important in my life, and when it's going along in the back of a film, I'll yell at the screen if it ain't right.
There's one thing as original music, and then of course you have like scores, which that changes too.
Yes. Oh, my favorite score is the score to the. Well, I don't know if this is a score, but the theme to the Godfather.
Okay.
Because they started one way. It's like the same song running, but they just take snippets of each part of the song and apply it to different scenes.
Mm-hmm.
How masterful is that?
Yep. I like a John Williams. John Williams probably did every famous score known to man, like Jurassic Park, Star Wars, Jaws.
Check him out, John Williams. Okay.
Yeah, he did like Jaws, Jurassic Park, Star Wars, everyone you can name probably except for Back to the Future, I think. But he's done them all. He's done a lot. So the scores and the original songs, I think, like.
Really?
Yeah. I think Waiting to Exhale soundtrack was like the highest.
Oh, that was.
Yeah. I think that was like the highest CD that year, or the highest bought CD that year that it came out.
I remember that very well. Very well. That was. We just played that all.
Yep.
I think it was like in the fall that might have came out. I remember it that well. And we just played that over and over.
Yep.
Not gonna cry. Not gonna cry. Oh yes.
You know what, Trina? Speaking of music and scores and just this music conversation, we could talk about music for days, but I want to just listen to some music. And right now, I want to listen to Amy Correa Bell.
Yo, what's up, friends and family? This is Amy Correa Bell, and you're about to tune in and listen to my new single, Supreme.
How do you feel when you're just doing art?
It's a major release for me. I don't pursue so much the sale of it right now. I am gearing up to have some pop-up galleries in the future, maybe in the next 18 months. I have a lot of friends in the art business. One of my best friends that I grew up with is the head of, he used to be the head of LACMA, now he's the head of a huge museum in Florida, where you are.
Okay.
You know, and I grew up in Manhattan, I grew up in New York, I grew up in private schools, and I grew up, I was very, very much that girl that went to the Guggenheim, that went to the Museum of Natural History, like, a lot.
Okay.
And it's really important to me. It's just something about just looking at a piece of artwork gives me so much calm and peace. It takes my mind away in a way that I feel it's freer than other forms of creativity to me. And there's so many great artists. I love Kalinde, Basquiat, and the list goes on. I consider myself an aspiring artist, but someone I know when the time is right is going to be taking it down.
Okay. All right.
Putting it up. It up. Yeah, because I love the scene, and I just feel like I have many lives in me, and I'm just anxious to live them all. So I definitely keep painting. I paint. I do sculpture. I do charcoal sketches, and I do watercolor. And I do have an art page at Trina Mcgee Art. I haven't been putting as much as I should up there because I've been focusing on some other things. And then, with what's going on now, I kind of feel like there's other things that are a little bit maybe more important in terms of the intermediate need. But yeah, I will always be an artist. I will always be, exposing art to people, probably for the rest of my life.
Okay. No, really, her art is like very well done. You guys should check it out. Trina Mcgee art, like really, like when do you think you'll be starting to do pieces for people? Like, say somebody say, I kind of want to do this. When do you think that'll be?
I have done pieces for people. I have sold pieces. About 2 years back, I was doing more art on canvas. I honestly think within the next 18 months, definitely.
Okay.
I don't know if people have money to buy art right now.
Well, yeah, good.
So I'm gonna give it a minute till we get it all back together.
Okay, ain't no telling.
And in the meantime, I'll just keep creating. And the funniest thing, you can do a painting from 5 years ago. It'll sit. If it's there for sale, I got an offer. 5 years later, let's do this for that. So that's what I do love about art, and I love coming back to the old art I've done and be like, wow, that's how I was feeling then. All my art is about how I'm feeling. There's no question about that.
Yep. So if you had an argument that one day and you see like it's all red in the background, you know why.
Oh yeah. And if you're looking at it and you did it, it was you. Okay. Yeah.
Oh man, art is just it's a nice, creative, expressive thing to do. Lots of people do art. Lots of people do writing, dancing, anything.
These things are really important because what they do is they tell the story of your society at a time, and it tells these are the most truthful things that a society can leave behind for generations to come. You can write a book, you can say this, but the art tells it what really happened for the most part, unless you get some artful liars, that's happened too. But for the most part, you get the vibe of what's going on with those people. If you look at paintings from the 50s, you can see everybody kind of had that same running theme in their head, that jazz Picasso thing going on. Up until the 90s, when you see Kalinde doing those great colors and more realistic situations. I mean, the list goes on, but it definitely is always a reflection of the decade and the time. People can't even help but being even in their own creativity on that sync. And I like that because I think it tells the story of the people.
Yeah, everybody needs a story. Everybody tells their story the way that they feel like it. Yeah.
That's how we survive, knowing other people's stories, so we know it's not so bad. I'm not so bad. I can do this.
Yeah,
we did that. Ain't nothing new under the sun.
Well, can you let everybody know where they can find you, whether it be Twitter, Instagram, or anywhere?
Yeah, just go to my Instagram at the real Trina Mcgee. I think it's real Trina Mcgee. At the real Trina Mcgee on Instagram. At real Trina Mcgee on Twitter. On Instagram, I'm going to be coming out with my own line called Trina Mcgee's Wellbeing Market.
Okay.
and it's a line of indigenous herbs that you can take to basically stay young forever, like me.
Yeah.
So look out for that. I'm already doing a lot of work and introducing the products. As soon as this COVID is over, I should have everything you're going to need to really just keep staying young, keep staying fit, keep staying healthy, well-being, everything that has to do with well-being. That's really what I'm into, and how I keep it together and avoid premature aging. We don't have to age prematurely. There's a lot of things we can do, but you have to be diligent about it. So I really would like to teach. I like to teach and I like to learn, and that's what I'll be teaching everybody real soon. And you'll be seeing it on Instagram, and soon you'll be knowing where to get it.
Yep. Her Instagram is like her. You're working out one day, you're getting fit the next day. So yeah, it's really good. Yes.
All of that is going to come together to create one kind of go-to spot for your well-being, whether it's exercise classes, whether it's try this herb for your lungs, for your hair, whether it's here's a method of steaming your face with mugwort. Have you ever tried a V-steam? There's just so many things people have done over the centuries, especially indigenous people, Asians and Africans, things that they have been doing for 20,000 years or so that have helped women stay together and stay fit, and men. And I come from that kind of heritage. I'm of Caribbean descent, and all of that's just been in me for centuries. And I just really happy to give it out to everybody else. I think it's a good time for it.
Yeah, well, really. Like, just another side note, because I like to go on side notes. I'm not professional, I guess. During the quarantine, do you have anything that these people can watch? Anything you would suggest for people to watch during quarantine?
Oh, you gotta watch Boy Meets World.
Well,
start with the first season. No, you know what I like? I like weird movies. Like, oh gosh, you ever seen Looking for Mr. Goodbar with Diane Keaton?
No, I have not. I've heard about it. I have not watched it because I don't know where I can find it.
Little movie. Yeah, it's hard to find, but I think if you go on YouTube, maybe you can buy it.
Okay.
Or something like that. But that the Ozarks is good. I want to watch that. I haven't gotten to the third season of that.
Yeah, I've been hearing a lot about that. Yep.
Yeah. And I like Better Call Saul. And there's one about to come out, some feminist one on FX. I forgot what the name was, but that looks pretty good too.
Okay.
But but though I really actually have been a little bit more into reading.
Okay.
Than I have been looking at shows, because I know what that's about. And I've been doing a lot of reading on American short stories.
Okay.
Art of the Western World. Just a lot of I just feel like this is a great time to get educated. And reading books is especially if you're reading things that are historical and fact based. You're gaining some real knowledge that helps you in the real world, instead of particularly gaining it off of someone else's perspective. So then when you do watch the shows, you have this plethora of knowledge in your head that's actually real to kind of gauge it within what you're watching. And it makes for such more of an interesting entertainment when you educate yourself.
Yep.
That's what I'm doing. I got the books.
Okay. Do you have a book that you think somebody should just start on that will help them, just be entertained during quarantine? Any suggestions?
Entertained during quarantine. So I get so serious. I'm going to look at my books right now.
Okay.
I would say check out Song of Solomon.
Okay.
And Tar Baby by Toni Morrison is a good one.
Okay.
100 Years of Solitude by Gabriel Garcia Marquez.
Okay.
Is a great one. Oh, Walter Mosley, Little Scarlet. That's nice.
Okay.
And what else we got here? Give me two more really good ones. You know what I like? People might think it's remedial, but I love reading is Aesop's Fables.
Oh, okay. All right.
It's just these little lessons of like the donkey and the fox, and then you're like, it teaches you like little things you need to remember.
Yeah.
And then another one I like is The Wealth of Nations by Adam Smith.
Okay, that sounds like a good name.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
Well,
and then I also read. I'll give you one more. Laws of the Game: How the Principles of Nature and Govern Chance.
Okay.
By Manfred Egan and Ruthven Winkler. I like that one.
Okay.
So I do like to read books about the psychology of people and how people react and how different people who come from different regions of the world conduct their cultures and their sociology. And I think that's really kind of one of the most important things to know about in the world if you're trying to get along in the world and be successful.
Anyways, one last question I am going to ask because, well, I gotta ask you first. Are you a big comedy special person?
I do like. I do. I liked Dion Cole's last comedy special. Really
Yes.
I thought that was really funny.
I put that. I put that on, not expecting to know what it was, and it was good.
Yeah, that's honestly the last good one I've heard. I have to check back in and see what's out there. But I am a person who will put on comedy and do the dishes.
Okay.
I love that.
We, said where they can watch a movie. We told them a movie to watch during quarantine. We gave them a book. Now we're going to give them a comedy special. Do you have one that's probably, on Netflix or somewhere easy to watch that they can watch? We're giving them all types of content.
All right, I'm trying. Okay, I'm trying to be simple. Something comedy that they can just watch on Netflix. Oh, gosh. I love Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle is really my favorite stand-up, for sure. Yeah.
That just reminded me of a Dave Chappelle joke.
Now, don't tense up on me. I don't want you guys to think I'm like an angry black guy. I am an angry black guy, but you know what I mean? I have a right to be an angry black guy, though. It's different for me. See, I don't know if you guys believe in reincarnation or not, but I have been black 4 lives in a row. I need a...
That is actually very... I thought that was funny. Do you have... So you say Dave Chappelle. That's your one? You giving Dave Chappelle? Okay.
Yeah, I can't really... Dave Chappelle, the old Eddie Murphy, even though like the old Eddie Murphy will put it on and it's not like as funny to everybody else as it was to you.
Well, I mean... It's some of it is timey with the language that he's using and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, but I can't really think of any more really comics other than Dion and Dave Chappelle being my favorite. I like Chris Rock too.
Okay.
I thought his last comedy special was good. I just remember he had done one years back that really knocked him really into the game.
Okay.
And that was my favorite one of him. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd probably give him Dave Chappelle Killing Me Softly because that is just a masterpiece. If you want to, depending on what kind of laugh you want, I would say Bernie Mac, anything Bernie Mac. Depending on if you want to, because some of the stuff he say is messed up, but it's funny.
Yeah.
And then if you want just a regular laugh that's not with nobody saying nothing messed up, then probably go with a Kevin Hart. He most likely keeps it clean to where he can still work the next day. While Eddie Murphy, he don't care.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I forgot about Kevin. Kevin is up there too. I'm with Kevin. Kevin be making me laugh.
Yeah, he makes me laugh, but you can tell like he still has stuff he wants to sell. So that's the only reason why I said he doesn't make nobody mad.
So far.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Don't make nobody mad, no problems. So he's good. Well, look, this is really gonna be my last question. We might as well give them the full thing. We might as well. We gave them movie. We gave them book. We gave them comedy special. Might as well give them a song, couple songs, or just a era of music to listen to in general while they're on quarantine.
Okay. So a couple songs to listen to?
Yeah. Go for it.
I jump all over the place with music. So if you're into old school R&B, I would say you really need to pick up Rufus and Chaka Khan's Street Player album. Okay. Or Angela Bofield, my old school go-to, Minnie Riperton. Who else do I love? Oh, I love Herb Alpert.
Okay.
I love him in that genre. Okay, now if I'm going to go to my current kind of jazzy thing, I love Tom Misch. I love FKJ. My sister, a lot of people don't know, is a very famous singer. Her name is Dominique Vilsamet. She's out of Canada. She is very good.
All right.
So she's in that kind of current jazz scene. Dominique Vilsamet. She's on Instagram at Sing With Me.
Okay.
It's SING with M-I, and she's great. And then I listen to her, of course. And then FKJ Masego, I love this girl named June Marizi. She's very good.
Okay.
And then if I'm in my like 90s old school mode, I want to hear like Blackstreet. I want to hear.
Okay.
I want to hear. What else do I want to hear? My 90s old school. Oh, I want to hear Joe.
Oh, okay.
I like Tyrese's album from back then.
Okay.
I'm sorry. So Chico DeBarge had a great album in the 90s. I really loved. I forgot the name of it.
Okay.
And then if I'm going on to my hippie vibe, then I want to hear Joni Mitchell. A KCU is my favorite song by her.
Okay.
I want to hear Neil Young.
All right.
Harvest Moon. And I want to hear Crosby, Stills, and Nash.
Okay.
Love them.
Okay.
And my favorite group from that era, kind of also a little later, is Steely Dan.
Okay.
Steely Dan is probably my go-to music.
Okay.
If I'm coming in the house, it's a long day, I'm going to turn on Steely Dan.
Okay.
You know?
Okay.
So, and then, okay, so now current rap music, that's a hard one for me, but I'm going to say I do like that, what is that? Who's that guy? I think it's just got to go. On the Jeep, ballin'. I like that guy.
Oh, Roddy Ricch.
Roddy Ricch, yes. I like him, and I like. I love, of course, Drake's. Every song by Drake is good.
Yep.
I mean, come on, you know. But
my answer.
And then for old school rap, I'll go to Ice Cube. I love Ice Cube.
Yep. Ice Cube.
So I think I've had some really amazing music influences in my life, for sure.
So, this is Trina Mcgee. Any last words before we get on out of here? We gave these people a good show today. Very good. This is very good. Any last words?
Oh, good. I'm glad we did it like this. We're gonna knock it out the park. I think that people really need to stay safe. Take this time as a time of humbling, a time of reflection. Don't worry. You know, God really has got us. And I know everybody's in different situations on the spectrum of it. But, you know, this is really a time to say, yeah, I need money. I need to survive. But for those of us who were neglecting our health and our well-being for those things, this is your time to get that right. And I think I just want to say to everybody, just take care, you know, and conflicts don't have to be brutal battles. They can just be situations where people progress and come together in harmony. And the world really needs to start working with each other.
Yeah.
And so I just really wish everybody would just get that in their heads. It's so easy to get angry, but it's not as easy to be the bigger man and just stay in a stance of love. So everybody stay in that stance of love, please. You know? Please.
Well, that is great. From Trina, from me, I'm just gonna, that's it. That's all we got to say. Boys to Men, take us out, and prime time is all the time.
You belong to me, I belong to you.